As someone that's been gaming since the early 90s, I have a solid grasp on what works and what doesn't. At Anthem's launch, there were a lot of components and abilities for the Ranger that did not work well at all, but patch 1.0.4 changed most of them for the better. Today we're going to dive into a build for the Ranger that takes advantage of a handful of components and abilities that got reworked. Let's get started. The foundation for today's build is the Recurring Vengeance Masterwork Seeking Missile. Originally, this ability regenerated a charge after securing a kill, but in general, on-kill effects in games where enemies have large health pools are completely worthless. This ability got reworked in patch 1.0.4 to regain a charge when detonating a combo. Using it well means you'll be able to combo multiple enemies back to back or a single enemy multiple times. With that in mind, I want the rest of my loadout to give me access to primers so I can be self-sufficient. For the grenade slot, I'll be using Explosive Blaze, the Masterwork Inferno Grenade. Explosive Blaze deals damage on impact and sets enemies on fire, which primes them. Its additional effect in-game isn't correct. I don't know who's in charge of writing ability descriptions in this game, but they need to get it together. Hitting 2 enemies causes a secondary explosion. Explosive Blaze has a relatively long 11-second cooldown, but because the Ranger's melee attack is also a primer, we can use that to keep our combos flowing smoothly. With that in mind, there's more we can do to up our combo potential. The Elemental Ops component got a massive buff to its additional effect. Now, on a hit streak of 5, it applies the acid status to a target, which primes them. The acid status increases the target's damage taken. With 3 different primers, we have a lot of flexibility in how we approach combat. We can prime a single target from range with acid on our guns, we can prime a large group with fire from Explosive Blaze, and we can melee with Shock Mace to prime in close quarters. With all of that in mind, it's time to fill out the rest of our components and weapons. The first and most obvious component is Tip of the Spear. This increases our combo damage by 50% and combos restore 40% health to you and nearby allies. Next, since I plan on using Shock Mace to prime, I'll be using the Vanguard's Badge. This increases melee damage and electric effects by 40%, and also as of patch 1.0.4, its additional effect is melee hits restore 40% shields. This effect used to be on kill. This will give us a massive bump to survivability when fighting in close quarters. Next, General's Favor increases our grenade recharge rate by a massive 40%, and its additional effect, hitting an enemy with a melee, increases grenade damage by 45% for 10 seconds. I was having a tough time figuring out what the final 2 component slots should be, but I decided to go with Airborne Advantage and Badge of Devastation. Airborne Advantage increases impact damage by 50% and reduces blast damage by 20%. Impact damage affects our Seeking Missile and our guns, and blast damage affects our ultimate and our grenades. The in-game description for Badge of Devastation is messed up. It increases something on the assault launcher by 30%, and a hit streak of 10 adds to our ultimate meter. For weapon selection, I want something to complement Elemental Ops and Badge of Devastation. Something fast-firing to make getting hit streaks easier. There's a lot of great options, but I'm gonna go with the Vasa's Surprise Machine Pistol, mostly for its additional effect, melee hits reload the magazine. My second weapon is a Stat Stick. I'm using it for its inscriptions and nothing more, so it's not very important. Alright, now this setup seems a little bit odd. I'm not going all in any one style of play, but if I manipulate all of my components and abilities and guns correctly, I should be able to flow moment to moment without ever stopping to reload or recover. So let's get out into the field and see if we can make that happen. Alright folks, for today's testing we're doing a Grandmaster 2 Legendary Contract. This is going to be very exciting because of all the changes that were made to the components and abilities that we're using. So let's get into it. Looks like we are approaching the first objective and we have to defeat some enemies that are hanging out near a relic. So let's get into it, man. First thing that we're going to show off is Elemental Ops. Hitting enemies 5 times in a row applies that acid status, and that feels very good. It gives us access to a consistent primer that we can use to trigger the Recurring Vengeance and its additional effect. I'm taking a lot of damage here, so what I'm going to do is try to brawl with these guys. I'm going to fight with them in close quarters, hit them with that melee to restore a little bit of my shield. I have my ultimate already because I've been triggering so many combos, so let's go ahead and use it. I'm not going to try and hold on to it for the most ideal situation because I'm going to get it so often. Now, I haven't thrown a single grenade yet because I haven't seen any situations where I absolutely need to throw a grenade. I'm going to generally save grenades for when I see a large clump of maybe 3 or 4 enemies. Got a Scar Hunter over here. I'll hit him with my Shock Mace to get rid of his shield. Now we got a big boy over here. Let's apply that acid status. then knock out his shields. Now sometimes when comboing the same target multiple times, the combo won't always trigger properly. I'm not entirely sure what causes that, but it is what it is. And we've got 2 Scar Enforcers to deal with. Got our ultimate ready. Let's try and... There we go. Yeah, so that's going to be the gist of this build. We're trying to flow with all of our abilities and use them based on what we need at a given moment. When we start taking too much damage, we're not going to run away. We're going to get aggressive and go in for those melees to restore some of our shielding. Now, I did mess up there. I shot the Recurring Vengeance at a target that wasn't primed. My shields are gone. I need to hit something. There we go. We got the shields back, and we did a combo. And the tip of the spear gave us a little bit of help. Shields are down again, but we can go in for a melee to get those shields right back. 2 combos in a row. Tip of the spear and the Vanguard's badge are going to keep us topped off. It's alright, it's all about flowing from moment to moment based on what the moment needs. We got a large grouping of enemies here, so we can finally throw our grenade and feel like it's not being wasted, that additional effect triggering some secondary explosions on the Scar. Whoa. So you see my health and shields went pretty damn low there for a second, but using the Vanguard's badge allowed me to get everything back. It saved me from what would have otherwise been certain death. Go, deposited. Got a legendary Scar Enforcer. He's going to be fun. Combo number 1, throw out the grenade. Combo number 2, we have our ultimate, so let's use it to finish him off. Using our melee hit to reload our machine pistol, the Vasa Surprise. It's just combo after combo. Got a nice hit with our grenade there, triggering that secondary explosion. Using our melee once again to reload the Vasa Surprise. Got some elite scars. We'll set them on fire, trigger a combo. It's visceral. It's exciting. This is one of the craziest ways you can play the Ranger right now. Alright, for part 2 of the contract, we have to defeat 2 targeted Scar, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to flow based on what the situation needs. We're going to move from moment to moment based on what we need from the situation. We've got a legendary Scar on us already, so let's set him on fire, trigger a combo, go ahead, go for the slam, trigger another combo, let's hit him with some acid, and then use our ultimate. Because we have it, we don't want to waste all of that ultimate energy that we gain from triggering endless amounts of combos. It's truly satisfying to trigger so many combos in a row with the Ranger. Oops, I missed there, so the Recurring Vengeance is on cooldown. So I'm going to pull back for a minute and just let that come back up, because triggering those combos is very important to my survivability because of Tip of the Spear. So let's get that acid on. Combo, fire, combo. Hit him with the shock mace. This should combo, but it doesn't. I don't know if that's a bug or not, or if there's an internal cooldown on when you can trigger a certain combo with certain elements, but it's a thing. Just pay attention to it. Ooh, taking a lot of damage there, so we'll go in for a melee. I'm not going to retreat. I know I can restore my shields with the Vanguard's badge and a melee hit. So really, retreat is an option that you make when you're using this setup only if it is absolutely dire, a very dire situation. Because of all the health sustain that I have, I know that I can go in and I can start whoop, whoop, whoop. I can start brawling if I really need extra health. Now I just got to defeat the remaining enemies. That's not crazy. Hello. Whoops. Oh. Wait for it. There you go. And there we go, that's going to do it for the build for today. Despite the fact that patch 1.0.4 didn't fix all of the problems that Anthem has, I don't think any one patch will do that. It did make a lot of amazing changes to the components and gear for all of the Javelins, and I'm having a great time exploring all of those changes. They make the game a lot more fun. With all of that said, we're going to wrap things up here, but don't worry, there's plenty more Anthem coming soon. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to support the channel more than you already do just by watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting, you can head over to patreon.com/iBluairJgR to become a patron. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.